Holy crap, we're on the air.
Holy diver!
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's my bad.
All right, this is NotAClue podcast. It's our first episode in forever. I'm Brad, and
I'm the intern, Kenneth.
the intern Kenneth is here. With COVID still going on, it's also late. It's after midnight, so couldn't get CD involved tonight just because of the time. I didn't want to bug him at this time of night.
Normally, I wouldn't be available this time of night either.
Yeah.
But
Well,
infant child.
I was going to say, it's been a while since we've done a show, so first things first, congratulations to the intern Kenneth. Would you like to say that one more time for the people?
I have an infant born 6 days before Christmas of last year. I don't sleep.
So, congrats again to you and to the lady. All right. Well, I got some kitty action going on over there, trying to make some kitties of their own. But anyway, let's do some whoring here.
Whoring.
You can find us at Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue podcast, Facebook.com/NotAClue podcast,
Facebook.
the old Twitter at NotAClue pod,
We're not banned.
on Instagram at NotAClue podcast.
Insta.
Also, you can find us. That's about it. Oh, on YouTube. On the channel, first name of the channel, NotAClue. Second is podcast. All right, so let's get into this. It's been a long time since we've done a show. Let's get right into some playoff football action. So, just with overall, how was that past weekend of football for you as a fan? Especially with no skin in the game without your team being there.
Yeah, it was great football to watch. You almost had the comeback for Brady again, which, that's on everyone's mind.
Especially while it was happening. It's like, oh, God, not again.
You had the defensive nail-biter of the Bengals game where it was, literally both teams were just slugging it out. Interceptions here, sacks there, coming down to the kicker.
And the kicker with the cocky comment that was brought up, too.
No. Guy's got some cojones.
Yes.
I like it. It's an attitude you need to have as a kicker.
Yes, absolutely.
That's like a Justin Tucker type thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But that's what I see. But in all, great weekend of football.
It really. And then what about the capper game, the last one, the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills?
So, I was rooting for the Bills.
So was I.
I know tons of Bills fans because, upstate New York.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the teams. The other big one is the one that
Brady left.
I was going to say a team that a lot of other people who have been associated with the show. Your brother, CD, they're fans of the G-Men. So you have...
Yeah, but they're also Yankee fans, so, it all goes finger in finger. You hold the hole.
It all goes scissor,
But yeah, that game was... Like, you can't even say enough about it. It was... The last 2 minutes were... What?
Yeah. It really was.
Well, the thing is in all honesty, I didn't see the last 2 minutes live. I listened to it.
Next question,
in my
Archie.
car.
Is this your first meeting with Caesar?
I went to a website and suddenly a commercial showed up.
Is this your first meeting with Caesar?
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't get us.
Ding.
Yeah. That wasn't supposed to happen. Jesus.
But yeah, so I listened to the last 2 minutes and I'm like, oh my.
It's going to do it again.
I was like, what did I miss? What did I miss? And then I'd get a buffering for a second. I'd be like, no, there's 13 seconds left. What are you doing? Stop buffering. Come back, it's overtime. What, they got a field goal?
One thing I can say about, I'm looking at NFL.com right now. Their videos now play continuously, and I used to be able to just mute it and it would go away. So if you click on anything, it's going to...
Play it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that now that... Okay, good. All right, so I want to go to the box score of this game just to talk about it.
Gabriel Davis Doing Gabriel Davis.
So who?
So
Now that sports betting is legal in this state, who the friggin' hell had Gabriel Davis with over 200 and 4 touchdowns? Anyone? Except for a degenerate who's like, "Oh my god, it's available in this state. My life is better."
I'm gonna just bet everything.
Here's 3 shekels on that one.
I already have millions of dollars here.
Yeah, Gabriel Davis looks like a reliable guy.
Well, I mean, I was high on him pre-season.
Yeah, but
like heading into, I thought he was going to steal a lot of the targets that would normally go to Diggs, just because Diggs is drawing all that attention.
Or Beasley.
But
I would have thought Beasley.
But Knox, on the other hand, was the guy who came out this year going, "Hey, num 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 num."
Not in this game. He was 2 catches, 9 yards.
No, but during the season, Knox nommed them all up.
Just to clarify what we're talking, Gabriel Davis had 10 targets in this game, 8 catches, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns, including that. I talked about this with a buddy of mine earlier. We were talking about that last play of Gabriel Davis running straight down the middle.
The seam route, yeah.
It was the exact same, and the defense was pretty much the same as the Terrell Owens famous touchdown with San Francisco, where he got sandwiched. The only difference was the second guy that was over the top did not sandwich him like in that play. But he caught it in almost the same exact spot, right around the goal line. It was like, holy shit.
Well, honestly, the Kelsey route was the same thing. It was a seam route.
Yeah.
And it was the open. And
both defenses, you could see, were exhausted toward the end. Because suddenly there were, 25 points in the last minute?
So at the Flag League, I was talking with, because there's tons of Bills fans that were there, and I was talking with them, and I was, of course, we all have opinions on the games going into them being homers. All about the Bills, but I was like, the Bills defense has to show up in order for them to win this game. And I almost ate my words, because it was the Bills offense that marched down that field and got that touchdown to put them up, and then to put them up again.
But you could tell that the defense got super tired, because all of a sudden Tyreek Hill busted out that big run.
And that's the thing, is that guy just get on a giddy up, dude. Galloping horse running down the field, man.
I'm honestly shocked on that touchdown run that he had, the catch and run.
Yeah.
That he didn't get flagged for the taunt toward the end. The way that they get everybody for taunting, and they've done that with people in games before.
Yeah.
The fact that they actually didn't in that one, I'm shocked, because it was before he scored the touchdown. So I mean, that could have been shitty.
That coulda, woulda,
but it didn't, so it doesn't matter. But I just crazy.
Well, Brady got flagged. Sorry.
So, just to go through some of the stat lines of this game. Pat Mahomes was 33 of 44, 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 27 of 37, 329, 4 touchdowns. Neither one of them threw a pick. Mm-hmm. Rushing-wise, Josh Allen had 68 yards. Pat Mahomes had 69 yards. They both led their teams also in rushing.
Pat Mahomes had a rushing touchdown.
He also had a touchdown, too, yes. But that's not a good recipe for wins when your quarterbacks
are your leading rusher.
That's usually not good. Because if you throw the Eagles on that and Jalen Hurts is your leading rusher, that's usually not a good sign. Because he's also not going to throw it for 400 yards. No offense to him.
No, these guys are big arm playmakers.
Yeah, Devin Singletary, who showed up the last half of the season, only had 10 carries, 26 yards, and a touchdown. He also had 4 catches, 25 yards, which kind of keeps him relevant fantasy-wise, but in its playoffs. But anyway, that's a daily fantasy thing and gambling.
Money!
Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 60 yards. That's not bad for him. Jerick McKinnon ran the ball 10 times for 24 yards.
Honestly, it's not all about the run game, though, too. It's those short passes out the backfield.
I was about ready to get to this. Now, I'm going to go straight through the
receiving.
The Chiefs here. Tyreek Hill, 11 for 150. And a touchdown on 13 targets. Kelsey, 8 for 96 and a touchdown on 9 targets. Jerick McKinnon, 5 for 54, 7 targets. Byron Pringle, 5 catches, 29 yards, a touchdown on 7 targets. And then I'm not going to go to the guys who are just, down in that area.
Are just there.
Yeah, they don't have touchdowns or anything, so I'm not really going to do that. So the Bills, Gabe Davis, we already talked about. Cole Beasley, 6 for 60. Devin Singletary, 4 for 25. Dawson Knox, 2 for 9. Emmanuel Sanders, 1 for 16, and it goes on from there. So you had the one fumble that Josh Allen had at one point.
Yeah.
It's just It was a good game, though. It was a great way to finish.
Yes, it was a good capper. I know, living where we live,
a lot of people were disappointed.
The narrative of that overtime, that's
yes.
all you hear. You know, you can go to fucking Stewart's and, sorry, language.
That doesn't matter.
I know. You can go to Stewart's and you're going to hear the conversation of that overtime rule bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Actually, let's get into that really fast. What's your take on that, the overtime rule, especially in the playoffs? What's your take on this?
I think that I think it's fine. Like, I'm sorry. They shouldn't have even gotten to overtime. Like, the Bills, they had 13 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
They had to stop them one time.
Yeah.
Game was done.
Yep.
Over with. So...
Now, what about what other people have said? The squib kicking it or something instead of...
So, the squib kick, clock still doesn't start until somebody touches the ball. So, all you're doing is giving them better field position. Because you can get it and take a knee.
Yeah.
No clock.
What about the sky kick where they try to let it bounce at like the 6 or 7?
So, again, you also take the risk of a run back.
Mm-hmm. But Tyreek Hill wasn't back there.
Yes, but...
if he were back there,
But still, wasn't it Hardman?
I believe so. I can't remember off the top of my head right
He
now.
still is pretty dangerous.
He's fast. Yeah.
It's not, hit or miss. It is, but it's not like so. You can't say it's like the whole Super Bowl. Why didn't you run it on the 1 yard line?
Oh, the Marshawn Lynch.
Exactly. Why didn't you run it on the 1 yard line?
Yeah.
Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Too late now.
Yes, true.
Squib kick, whatever. You can fuck up and put it out of bounds. Give them the ball at the 40-yard line. They only got to go 20.
And
yards.
no time went off the clock. Yeah,
and they only got to go 20 yards.
Yeah.
It's senseless. I think they did the right thing. Trust their defense to stop them from getting into field goal range from a 25-yard line. 25-yard line to field goal range, what's that? A good
55 yards.
Exactly. And, all right, I got to keep them from getting 55 yards in 13 seconds.
Or even 45 yards, you could say. Yeah.
Still, in 13 seconds, my defense should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And because the Bills weren't able to do that, they deserve to lose the game. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I agree. But the only crappy thing is, with again saying that defenses were so exhausted, I think whoever won that toss was going to win the game. Because the other team was almost guaranteed to just march down the friggin' field.
And I get it. Like, I get everybody's upset with that. But like, well, the Bills could have went and did the same thing. But yes, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
Like, this is what gives the NFL the different narrative from the other sports with the series.
What about making it for playoffs, just for playoffs, like the college rule type thing?
I'm still not on board with it because, again, NFL has that any given Sunday narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case...
Unless you were the Lions years ago where they didn't win, but other than that, yeah.
But any given Sunday narrative, so the outcome of a game can change.
That's true. Yeah, true.
Flip of a coin.
Literally. That was a meme that went around that Josh Allen literally did a perfect game until the coin toss.
Flip.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of funny, but anyway.
I get it. I get the upset of the Bills fans. I get the upset of people watching the game because, goddamn, I want more of it.
Yes. Oh, God. And it was proven. It was one of the most watched games other than the Super Bowl over the last, 15 years. Whatever. I saw a stat earlier, and I can't find it right now, but it was legitly, that was what it said. It was, 30 million people watched it, or 23 million, whatever the hell it was.
If you're going to do that, you might as well just make it a series.
True. You know what? You make a point there. You make a good point. Because honestly, football, you can't really do a series.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's where the difference is. Because, baseball, you got 7 games. You got to win 4.
Yeah,
whatever.
All the other sports.
Yeah, you got to win 4. Yeah. And so,
except for the early rounds, it was 5.
So you can have a oopsie and be okay.
Yeah.
The football, that's what's great about football.
It's one and done.
If you have a bad game,
and that's the best thing.
You sit your ass down.
Even college football, I know they have a different overtime rule and everything, but they're still one and done.
Yeah.
With theirs, you lose in the playoff, the college football playoff, that is, or even a bowl game.
But
you lose, okay, you didn't win. The other team, there you go. Here's your bowl of oranges, and go on to the next round.
But that's what I mean. Like that's where the football has that magic of, hey, my team's an underdog. We got a chance. Oh, we got a chance, and boom, there it is. And that's why you can't change that rule. I think the rule's good the way it is. I understand people are upset, but I don't think you. Because I'm sorry, I don't want to stay up all night. These guys don't want to play all night.
Oh, because you got to think, if they ended up doing the college rule in the NFL, just think of I'm not saying it's not a risk for injury in college also, but in the NFL, there's a lot more on the line, no offense to the college kids, because you have all the big money being put out. You have, the next round, because this isn't the Super Bowl.
And then you're going to think about this. Like, if it happens, all these playoff records.
Yeah.
Set.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You
one game.
Yeah. You just go to like what we were just talking about with Mahomes and Allen. Suddenly they're throwing for 681 yards and 9 touchdowns. The other one 599 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Gabriel Davis, you give him the ball in the overtime.
Yeah.
He could tack on some more.
Yeah,
he got 2 more touchdowns.
Yeah, you give him double overtime. He's got 15 catches, 388 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Yeah. So here's a just a devil's advocate thing here.
Yep.
So what happens for when people are like, they gotta change the overtime rule. They gotta do something. Make it like other sports. Make it like college football. Make it blah 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 blah. What would make more sense if they changed it? Would it be
add like an extra quarter?
I was gonna say, would it be like for like both teams, if you both score a touchdown, then it's sudden death, almost like the field goal thing, but instead the other team at least gets a chance to score a touchdown? Or if that happens and time runs out, like soccer rule, have a field goal kickoff. So
with the whole, if the other team scores again,
I'm just trying to.
I know. With the whole other team scores, and all right, you scored with the possession, I scored with my possession. Okay, and now it's sudden death.
Yes, but it still leaves you in the same.
It's the same thing.
Yes, but it takes away that. Well, they never got a chance to score. But it's going to make other people. I get it.
It's going to be this. You're going to have the same.
It's going to be
outcome.
the same thing, just with a delayed reaction.
Exactly. So instead of suturing the wound, you're going. I'm putting my finger on it.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this plug in there for a minute. Oh, we're going to take it out now.
And that's basically what it is.
Yeah, no, I get you.
You're going to make some people. Well, it's just like, if you want to fix it, all right, just add 10 minutes of game time. You have 10 minutes of game time to get an outcome.
Hello.
10 minutes of game time to get an outcome. You guys fight it out.
Yeah.
Kind of like basketball overtime. Here's 5 minutes. Go.
Yeah. Or like hockey, you get a full period of overtime.
Yeah.
And then if you can't do it, okay, now you're just shoot out. Unless it's playoffs, and then it's playoffs, you can get 7 overtimes.
But that's how it would have to be. It would have to be like, here's 10 minutes, and then if that one period, whatever time limit they decide, doesn't yield a winner again, then it's okay, it's sudden death now. Because you have to, and then it's that coin toss. So you're always going back to the same thing. So why not just get it done quicker to keep these guys in good health for their next game?
True.
Because, yes, they have a week in between, but goddamn.
Yeah.
I've played football. I know.
What's foosball? All right, so anything else you want to add for that game before we go on to the next one?
No, I'm pretty.
All right, but again, fucking entertaining as hell to watch.
Did you shut the bedroom door back? Okay, making sure.
The next one, since it was the next one that I clicked on, we'll talk about the Rams and Bucks. 30-27. Like you said at the beginning, the whole Brady narrative of coming back and all that crap. We'll go through the stats really fast. I'll start with the Rams. Matt Stafford, 28-38, 366, 2 touchdowns, also good for him.
Don't forget the game-winning drive.
Yeah, good for him. Oh, yeah. Cam Akers ran the ball 24 times, but for 48 yards.
He just gives him a different...
And then for your receiving, you had Cooper Kupp, 9 catches, 183 yards, and a touchdown on 11 targets.
It's almost like that guy won the Triple Crown at wide receiver.
I don't know what you're talking about. Odell Beckham, 6 for 69, which may not blow people out of the water, but honestly, he's keeping his nose clean. He's not pulling Antonio Brown antic shit. He's playing. He's playing ball. He's on a winning team.
That's all it takes is playing.
Yeah. Like, look at Matt Stafford and him have never really had playoff success ever. And now look.
Well, Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Was it a shitty position? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
a team that didn't, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll get into some stats after about Matthew.
Yeah. Then you had Tyler Higbee with 4 for 51, and then Kendall Blanton had a touchdown catch on 2. He had 2 catches, 18 yards on a touchdown. I only threw him in there because he technically had the touchdown. So then you had Stafford with a touchdown run as well. And then for the Bucs, Brady.
Yeah, that was a 4th down run too.
The Brady stats is very confusing because how they came back in that game.
Yeah.
He was 30 of 54 for 329 yards, only 1 touchdown. He also threw a pick. It's like, holy shit. It's because Leonard Fournette got 2 touchdowns at 51 yards, and then Mike Evans, 8 for 119 and a touchdown. It's almost like, he does this all the time, especially without Godwin. Gronk had 4 catches, 85 yards. Fournette had 9 catches for 56 yards. Tyler Johnson, 3 for 15. And then
a lot of short passes in that game for a lot of screens.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
For Brady.
Yep. Yeah, well, Christ. And then look at that touchdown run at the end that Fournette did.
Yeah.
He took it to the outside because they were collapsing in on the middle, and he ran it to the outside. Boom, touchdown. See you later. And it's like, oh, no, the game's tied. And then the drive at the end. It's like, oh, no. But Cam Akers also, with those 2 fumbles, especially that one toward the end.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I felt bad for him because what happened afterwards. It's like, oh, no. This was a touchdown pass to Mike Evans after that, and they were within a touchdown, and like you could see their side, the Bucs sideline was going nuts suddenly, and the head started to go down on the Rams sideline.
Yeah.
And then Stafford made that pass to Kupp, and it was like, ah! I was like, oh, no! But this whole weekend was great. It was all last-second plays that won it. Field goal, touchdown. It was all scoring plays at the end of the game. Literally the last play of every game. Field goal, touchdown. That was the last play of every game.
If you want to talk about last play of regular, though, it was field goal.
Yes, exactly.
And then it was touchdown and OT.
Exactly. And
but Matthew Stafford, since he's came into the league in 2009, has had the most game-winning drives of any quarterback.
He's so good, though. He's always been good.
People just overlook him because he was stuck
in Detroit. Yeah, he was in Detroit.
It's horrible to say because at one point they used to be relevant.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. But they haven't been relevant in fucking ages, honestly.
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest. Like, I'm actually going to a stats for this year on the Rams.
No, he struggled towards the end.
Yes, but he still put up 48-86 for yards, which isn't the most he's ever had because he's had a 5,000-yard season before. Yeah. It's actually his 3rd most he's ever thrown.
Yeah.
He threw 41 touchdowns, which tied that 5,000-yard year. He had 17 picks, but he's had years of 17, 19, 16, so...
Where's it go to bed?
His completion percentage this year was 67.2, which is tied for the highest that he's ever had. That was back in 2015 where he had 67.2.
Stepping away for a moment, continue.
No, that's all right. And then I'm going to look at his records, like on his teams that he was on. Like he was below 500 every year, but 4 other years, he had 9-7 another year. 9-7, 9-7, 11-5, 10-6, and then this year 12-5. It's crazy to think that Matthew Stafford was that buried of a player in this career as a starter. 86-95-1. They had a tie in 2019. That's crazy. He's 5 yards away from 50,000 yards on his career. Finally getting some playoff success. I mean, I'm so happy for him, honestly. I can't explain it. He's been an all-pro guy. When Keith gets back, I'm actually going to ask him a quick question. Okay. So, he has basically 50,000 yards passing. He's 5 yards shy. Okay. Which is really good.
Yep.
So, I'm going to actually go through his stats really fast. So, I kind of did it. He's 5 yards short. He has
Yeah.
4,302 completions in his career. He's got 323 touchdowns in his career. So I'm going to go back onto the leader page for passing yards and stuff.
Mhm.
On the active list, on the all-around list, not the active list, I'm sorry, he's 12th overall for passing yards. In passing touchdowns, overall, he is 12th overall as well, ironically. So, going by that and going by a good completion percentage and everything, now that he's actually getting playoff wins, I'm sorry, I just accidentally hit one of the cats.
Yeah.
Is he Hall of Fame worthy? Before we go on to the next game, this was like these questions I wanted to ask during the middle of everything. Because we do have to hit a commercial soon because we're way over the time normally. So we'll answer this question and then we'll go to commercial.
Yes.
First ballot or no?
I don't think it's going to be first.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a first ballot, but I think he gets in.
Okay.
But if he wins a Super Bowl, he could be first ballot.
Okay. I think
I'm throwing that in there because...
And you also got to think, if he plays a couple more seasons at a high level,
yeah.
he's going to... Even if he doesn't throw up 48, 4,900, it's still 44, 43,
Yes.
4,500. That's still another
keep up there,
9,000 in 2 years. I mean, that's going to put him way over the top. Almost put him at 60,000, which would then put him in real rarefied air because there's only a handful that's done that. So let me go back to this. So for the actual passing yards, the 60,000 club is Dan Marino, Phillip Rivers, Roethlisberger, Brett Favre,
Favre?
Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady. That's your list. And honestly, there's going to be one other person that if he plays one more season is going to join it after 1 or 2 games. Matty Ice. So. Yes.
Matty Ice.
So you pretty much, yeah. I think he's a Hall of Fame worthy guy.
I do. I just don't think it's going to be a first balloter.
But if he retired now, like at the end of this season, I don't think it would be first ballot. But if he plays 2-3 more seasons at pretty high level like he is, I think so. We're going to hit a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk about the other 2 games. So this is NotAClue Podcast. We'll be right back. And we are back. This is NotAClue Podcast. Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue Podcast. Facebook.com/NotAClue Podcast. On that Twitter thingy at NotAClue Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. First name of the channel, NotAClue, all one word. Second is podcast. And we're also on Instagram at NotAClue Podcast. So.
Not to be confused with Instacart.
Yes, yeah. I mean, if you want to get us Instacart and deliver it to our houses, if you know where we are, we will not say no. So, let's go to... We've already talked about the Rams game and the Buccaneers game and the Bills Chefs game. Let's go to... We'll go with the Packers and 49er.
The Niner 49ers.
Out of all the games, this would probably be the most boring one of them all. But...
I like defensive slugfest.
Oh, yes, but if you're going to go from all the other games to this one...
I know.
It kind of was. Until you got toward the end of the game where... It became
I like a slugfest. I hate the Niners. Mm-hmm. I dislike the Packers.
I'm a Bears fan, so I really do.
I was going to say, I'm a Cowboys fan. I've had this rivalry with the Niners since the early 1990s.
Well, that was your nemesis way back when.
Yes.
So.
You know, that 93 run that the Cowboys had? Yeah.
Yes.
So, not a big Niners fan. Not to mention they knocked me out of the playoffs this year.
Well, they may have. If you forgot, ladies and gentlemen, he's a Cowboy fan. So let's go through the stats really fast. I'll start with the Niners since they were the wieners.
The wieners?
Jimmy G only threw the ball 19 times, completed it 11 times, 131 yards, and a pick, no tutties. Elijah Mitchell, 17 carries, 53 yards. Debo had 10 carries himself for 39 yards. Kyle Juszczyk, I have to get fullback. Got to give the fullback some love. 14 yards rushing.
I'm going to give huge check.
I mean, if you want to. Then you have George Kittle, who led the way with 4 catches for 63 yards. The Deebs, 3 catches, 44 yards. Elijah Mitchell, 3 for 18. Brandon Ayuk only had 1 target. And he had come on, like I drafted him in our fantasy league.
Yeah, no, I remember.
And he was in the doghouse and didn't play. I drop him. About 3 weeks later, he's all of a sudden went from 50% snap share to 85, 90% of all snaps. And it was like he's getting targeted suddenly. It's like but I had injuries and everything, so I had to dump him. And we had no IR spot, so that hurt.
It's Shanahan, man. There was always one thing, and he's...
Yes. I'll get to the Packer stats now. Aaron was 20 of 29 for 225, 0 touchdowns, which is actually...
There's 2 Aarons.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Sorry. You have Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had 12 for 41. Then you had A.J. Dillon, 7 carries, 25 yards, and a touchdown. And then you had Aaron Jones had 9 catches, 129 yards. Devontae Adams, 9 for 90. Then it's like one catch.
Wow.
For Mercedes Lewis and Allen.
How do you have one and multiple at the same time?
Stop it. So, which was more surprising? The fact that Green Bay lost and only put up 10 points, or San Francisco won? Because San Francisco putting up 13 is not surprising to me.
No.
But winning against the high-powered offense and the number 1 team.
So, I didn't expect like the resilience of their defense to be... So, it's going to be the Green Bay only scoring 10. Because I didn't think...
It's a high freaking powered offense. The names I just listed:
No,
Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon,
the yards
Devontae
of
Adams.
Aaron Jones alone between the two, the rushing yards and the receiving yards.
Yeah, it's 170 yards for him alone.
Exactly. Like that right there should say, "Oh, they got it." No, but that's not what happened.
And he didn't even get a touchdown out of that yard.
No,
it went to A.J. Dillon, which he is a great compliment to Aaron Jones.
Oh yeah, no, they fit each other well.
Yes, they do. That's a hammer and nail situation.
But Debo just Debo'd his way. He just got knocked the fuck out.
I still can't believe Debo Samuel ran the ball 10. He got 10 carries. I don't know where.
I think he had something close to that in the Cowboys game.
Yes, but where? How did this happen this year? Like, where did that all come from? Seriously, I'm being honest when I say that.
I don't know.
Because Ayuk was supposed to be the guy, and Debo ended up being the guy by a mile and 3/4.
So
not even a mile and a half.
I know Debo had a good year last year.
Debo was, but Ayuk had the year because Debo got hurt.
Yes.
And Ayuk took over, and everyone's like, uh-oh, the young kid.
And then, and he was like, oh, he's like got the speed, he's going to take off the top. Mm-hmm. But I don't get it. I don't know. And I don't know how teams can't stop it. I don't think he's that strong.
But, I mean, he is bulky for a guy in that position, but still.
That's how I feel. People can't tackle him for some reason.
Anything else on that game you want to discuss really fast before I move on to the next one?
Fuck the Niners.
All right. Hey, well said.
Go Rams.
Yeah, I want Matt Stafford to get a ring.
I'm on the boat.
I do. Although I'm about ready to go to a team that if they win it, I am not going to be upset with. The Bengals beating the Tennessee Titans 19-16. So let's go to the stats before we get through this. Joe Burrow, 28, 37, 348, and a pick. No touchdowns. That's surprising. You had Mixon, 14 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Then you had Jamar Chase, 5 catches, a buck 09. T. Higgins, 7 for 96. Uzama had 7 for 71. Joe Mixon, 6 catches, 51 yards, so on. So Tyler Boyd had a quiet game, 2 for 17 after being what he was for the last part of the season.
The ending. And
then for the Titans, Tannehill had his normal Tannehill-type game minus the interceptions. Way too many interceptions.
I'm going to touch on that, too.
He had 3 interceptions and 1 touchdown, 220 yards and 15 of 24. Then you had Derrick Henry on a welcome back game, which, again, my fantasy team. 20, 62 and a touchdown. Not great on the average, but they fed him the rock like he never left. Then you had Deontay Foreman with 66 yards rushing. 10.
Wasn't that like one play?
Yeah, he had 51 or whatever
On that one
play.
rush?
Yeah. A.J. Brown had 5 catches, 142 yards, and a touchdown. He finally showed up. Julio Jones, 6 catches, 62 yards. And Dontrell Hilliard, 3 for 13. Everybody else, it's like a catch. First things first. We talked about the kicker with the Coney, so we won't go there. How great is it to see Cincinnati winning in the playoffs? Because it doesn't happen.
So I've always been a fan of teams that build, right? And Cincinnati's gone through some hardships.
True.
And
You think?
the fact that they're building and taking that and going, we can do this the right. I like that.
Well, you got to think after because Marvin Lewis was a 500 coach. That team was basically a 500 team as whole.
Mm-hmm.
So once they got rid of the Red Rocket and most of the pieces associated with that, there's a couple holdovers, but most of that's when they really started building. And now this is what it is now. And they have a duo that's young enough, and if they keep those two together,
you got
especially those two. I'm just no offense to the other guys.
You got your Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison connection.
Yes, absolutely. And then Mixon's not a terrible runner. He honestly,
he's fragile.
He is, but
they need a compliment. That's what they need.
Yes, yeah, and that's actually where I was about ready to go. If they draft someone else who ends up being another Mixon, that's fine.
Yeah, that's all you need. You just need a compliment. Because the new 17-game season,
that extra
you can't rely on that one back the whole time.
No, and it sucks fantasy-wise. It always goes back to fantasy with us. It sucks for fantasy purpose because you're going to have more swings and misses on.
You got the Lion King happening over
there. Speaking of swings and misses. But like Jamar Chase, and I can throw T. Higgins in there because he's younger. He's younger as well. I mean,
T. Higgins actually surprised me a lot this year.
I drafted him.
I didn't expect these numbers though that he put up this year.
Well, having Burrow numbers this year is what.
So
really
Burrow did have a good bounce back from his injury
season. Yeah.
But what I want to say about Tannehill having a Tannehill-esque game, you said except for those picks.
Yep.
2 of those interceptions were not his fault. They hit the receiver in the hands.
That's correct.
That late one that everybody was criticizing the throw being made during the broadcast anyways, I heard them there like, oh, why would he throw that? And it's not something you should throw. I think it was actually Troy Aikman who said it.
Well.
And I was like, it hit his receiver's hands, man. That's a catch.
That's
supposed to be a catch.
If it hits the hands, I don't care what. Like, I mean, if it's a terrible and they're lunging and it grazes a fingertip, okay, that's a different story.
This was 2 hands.
Yeah, if it flatly hits your hand, same with Jimmy G. Jimmy G had a couple of those passes too, which we didn't touch on. But
no,
Kittle had one like why? Yeah, it was like
one of his. Like his only, as I would say, sure receiver. Like you're throwing the ball, you pretty much know he's caught it.
Yeah, 99.9% of the time he's catching it. Oh shit, that 0.1 just bit him. Yeah.
I mean, it was very, very cold.
Yes,
Green Bay,
but still no excuse.
I know.
Again, if he would have jumped and it grazed off a fingertip, still.
But, I mean,
different. That would have been
granted. That interception did cause them the game, but I don't think it was the incorrect thing to do. It was a good throw.
All right, so we have to button that up so that we can go to a commercial, but I want to get into this before we do it. So your game's on Sunday. The early game is going to be Cincinnati at Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Score prediction.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a score.
37-42.
Who's got
Kansas City wins.
Oh, he's got Kansas City 42.
I don't want Kansas City to win, but this is the analyst in me saying Kansas City's going to win.
42-37. That's what he's on the record. He said it. You heard it here. If Lauren,
on NotAClue podcast.
If Lauren somehow listens, she'll be happy. Or Amber.
I just it makes sense. I'm sorry.
Which I will now pull the rug out from underneath them.
Oh, he's taking him out with the Cincinnati Bengals.
I have Cincinnati 37.
Oh.
Kansas City 27.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
You heard it here.
So I do have to ask, why?
Why I have Cincinnati? Winning?
Yes, by that 10 with only 27 being scored by KC.
I have a feeling after what just transpired for Kansas City, they're going to have a hangover effect. Cincinnati, on the other hand, after that game, carried themselves in a way that makes me go, they're more dangerous.
So
the analytics side. Like I'm looking at this in an analyst type thing. The interviews that happened after that game makes me go, from hearing how they were talking after the game, both Kansas City and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's got that. I don't know if I want to call it a swagger right now, but they've got that, and it's now in their head that we are the team. And I think they're going to be a dangerous out for any team that plays them the next 2 rounds.
So I do like their defense better than Kansas City's defense. Kansas City defense is very porous.
Yep, and that's another reason.
But I don't think they have an answer for Kelsey, and I think that's where the issue lies.
But the thing is, though, they do. It's the opposite side of the ball. Because it's the same.
I don't think they're going to be able to stay on the field, running the ball and killing clock. Because that's what it would have to be. They would have to kill clock. But personally, I don't think that Kansas City offense, they only need 13 seconds.
It's true. But I think that game's going to be so different. While you guys are listening to this, tell us through all our social medias, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, through the actual
Viagra.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think that'd be Pornhub. Anyway, let us know who you guys think. Now we'll go to the NFC side. I'll start first on that one.
Okay.
6:30 on Sunday. The Rams take on San Francisco in LA. This
place Super Bowl gonna be.
Yes, so it could be another team playing in their building, and I think that's going to be the case.
Oh,
I think the Rams are going to beat San Francisco. It's going to be not a huge scoring game because both of them have defenses who can play. I actually have this as a 23-20 game.
Okay.
23-20. This is going to be another one of those late second field goals, but I'm going to do it this way. Robbie Gould has never missed a playoff field goal until the final kick. He misses it. That's how they don't tie the game. So I now want that to come true because that's on the record.
So I don't think it's going to be a close game. As much as I like the play style of the Niners, because I like the run first, heavy defense. Like, that's my style of football.
I couldn't tell. I pointed to the video game on the big screen next to us.
That's my style of football. But with that being said, I think Matthew Stafford's too dangerous. I think he knows he's dangerous.
Yep. Matthew Stafford, though, also is prone to slip-ups, which is also where I think it's going to make it a closer game. Because San Francisco's defense...
But that's the thing is, I feel right now you're going to see the best of Matthew Stafford.
Basically, you're basically saying almost the same thing I said about Cincy.
Yes. I think you're going to see the best of Matthew Stafford right now because he knows. Like, he's got that monkey off his back. You know?
He does. And
it's now, all right, cool. I can relax and play football.
Yes.
And I think that's what's going to put it. And not to mention, you have the best player in football, Aaron Donald, on the other side.
Not to mention Von Miller, who's not a slouch.
No.
Jalen Ramsey, also not a slouch.
I was going to say, Von Miller, who's playing in prime form right now.
You can tell he's past his injury.
Yeah.
You seriously can.
And Jalen Ramsey back there, they have other pieces.
Yes, but those are the pieces. Let's not.
No, go ahead, double team Aaron Donald. Here comes Von Miller.
From the opposite side. I mean...
Granted, I can see them keeping an extra body in the block.
But
they're not going to have receivers get open if they do that.
That's true. So let us know who you think will win the NFC side, who you think will go to the Super Bowl, all that good stuff.
I didn't say my score, did I?
Oh, you did not? Yes. What's your score? Sorry. Let's go back to that.
No, I'm sorry.
No,
I got off topic.
You're fine. No.
Game not being close. I got 17 to 34.
Ooh. Wow, you have a double there.
Yeah.
34-17 Rams over the Niners.
Yes.
So, again, he has
37-42. KC in
Yep.
the Cincy.
Yep.
Over Cincy.
Yep.
And I have 17-34 with LA over San.
And I have 23-20 Rams beating San Fran. And I had 37-27 Cincy over KC.
And you also have the caveat of Robbie Gould.
Robbie Gould missing his first ever playoff field goal at that moment because that's what I am doing. So we're going to go to take another break really fast. Again, let us know on all our socials, facebook.com/NotAClue Podcast, Twitter @NotAClue Pod. When this plays on all of our other platforms that you can find this on, like Spotify, Tidal, people over in India. I can't remember what you guys listen to, so I apologize. Let us know. Anything. YouTube, comment on it, however you want to find it. All right. Commercial time. Here we go.
Sponsored by YouTube.
It's time for NotAClue Podcast's Blind Resume.
Hey, all right. Good lead-in. I love it. That guy had a sexy voice. It's time for Blind Resume, where I read off some statistics. Today it's going to be NBA and NFL, and the intern, Kenneth, has to see if he can predict who it is and who he would prefer to have in an event of you have to play a pick'em game between the two. We'll start with an NFL one.
Wonderful.
Player number 1, 257.4 passing yards per game, 418 touchdowns, 211 interceptions, 64.4 completion percentage. Mm-hmm. Player number 2, 269.1 passing yards per game, 367 touchdowns, 170 interceptions, 65.5 completion percentage. Mm-hmm. Which one and who are they? As the cats are playing like crazy.
Oh, they got their mouse. I would take number 2.
Okay. Why? I'll throw the Y in there.
So, completion percentage, I'm big on, and it was slightly better. He did average more yards per game, too.
Mm-hmm.
The touchdown thing, that's, all right, I got in the red zone, I'm going to run the ball. That's not necessarily the quarterback's fault.
Also, it's 41 less picks.
Yeah, it's just accuracy I'm big on when it comes to quarterbacks.
So,
with that being said...
Okay, you knew where I was going, okay.
Who do I think it is? 269?
269.1, yep.
You just want to throw 69 in there.
Two of them. Two of them, apparently.
Oh,
that's 130.
390?
Say that again?
390 tutties?
367.
Oh, 360.
Yes.
360. 360.
367.
I did 360.
I love this game.
God. Yards per game.
Yep, 269.1 and 257.4.
65 completion percentage.
65.5 and 64.4.
I'm going to say Jimmy G.
For which one?
Number 2.
Number 2.
The one I picked.
Okay, who'd you pick for number 1? You also got to remember, 367 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, that's a little high for Jimmy G.
That's why I wanted to throw that back out at you. So I'm going to disregard your Jimmy G comment. I'm going to pretend you didn't say it. No one else heard you.
I'm
There you go. So who is player number 2 that you chose? If I didn't throw the touchdowns and interceptions in there, I could have seen maybe why you did that.
The yard seems low for a lot of people that jump into my mind.
So who you got? Unless you give up, and I'll just tell you. But I know you at least want to guess one of the people.
All right, number 1's Tony Romo.
Who's number 2?
Dak Prescott.
You have player number 1, Ben Roethlisberger. Player number 2, who you chose, Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice? I almost said Matty Ice.
Matty
I honestly almost said it, but I was like, it still seems too low.
All right, so we'll
for
go
the
right
games.
now.
I should have just went with my gut.
Now we're gonna go with.
Question my life.
I'm gonna
Question my life choices.
check that one that's done. All right, we're gonna go with NBA. Do you want NBA number 1 or NBA number 2?
2.
Number 2. All right. Player number 1, 21 points per game on flat, 38.8 3-point percentage, 85% free throw percentage, 3.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Player 2, 22.6 points per game, 35.5 3-point percentage, 81.4 free throw percentage, 6.2 rebounds, 2.7 assists.
What was the points in the second one again?
21 for the first one, 22.6 in the second one.
Okay.
This one's an interesting one to me.
Well, out of the 2, I want 2.
You want number 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because he sounds taller.
Okay.
The rebounds.
Ooh. What's up, bud?
21, 38 from behind the arc, 85 free throw percentage.
Yeah, 38, 8, and 85. These cats are going off on each other.
And number 2 is Glenn Robinson.
And who was player number 1? I like where your head's at, though, with that one.
21, 38 behind the arc. Peja Stojakovic?
So the player you chose...
Peja was going to have way more rebounds.
Player you chose was Melo.
Oh.
Those are Melo's stats.
Oh. Interesting.
The player you did not choose, Mitch Richmond. Yeah, those are Mitch Richmond stats. Good stats.
They are.
All right, so that one's done. So,
Like how I pulled out that name?
yep. So do you want
Glenn Robinson?
So do you want NFL number 2 or NBA number 1?
Let's stick with NBA.
All right. So
I'm in an NBA mindset. Let's go.
all right. So we'll finish it up with the football one.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Football.
the heck he just did. Yeah. Okay. Something just happened in here, and I don't know what it was. Anyway. All right. Let's go. Player number 1. 23 points per game flat. 11.4 rebounds. 52.6 field goal percentage. 1.4 block. 83.2 free throw. Player 2, 23.8, so pretty close. 10.2 rebounds, 51.4 field goal percentage, 2.3 blocks, 79.6 free throw.
So what was the first one's free throw?
83.2.
And the second one was 79.
79.6.
So I want to.
You want number 2?
Yeah, I like defensive. The 2.3 blocks.
Okay.
I think number 2 is Mark Gasol. Number 1 is Paul Gasol.
Wow. Interesting. Player number 2 is Anthony Davis. Player number 1 is Karl Anthony Towns.
Cat.
Yes.
I can see that.
But I intentionally did that one going through the stats because that makes that tricky if you think about it. Because all the percentages are so much better, not so much better, but better.
Yeah.
And you have basically a 1.5 field goal percentage and 4 free throw percentage, and the points are basically a wash. And then you have that 0.9 difference in block. That's it.
Yep.
That's your difference in those two, really.
Well, no, I'm a fan of Cat. I am.
So am I.
Anthony Davis, I'm a fan of his as well. I just think being on the team he's on is not really helping
Conducive to his,
him
yeah.
at all.
Nope. It's I hate saying these words, it's the LeBron effect. Look at Kevin Love.
Yep.
Kevin Love, even though he still put up decent numbers, and Anthony Davis doing the same thing. Kevin Love not with him,
Yep.
Look at that. The only player that it didn't honestly affect...
Kyrie?
No, I was going to say D. Wade. Kyrie got better because he was, coming into
playing
the league.
off the ball helped Kyrie.
Yeah,
because he's a two guard.
But again, and this is where I think also it's the guard effect. Because Westbrook is Westbrook, so I mean I can't throw him in this mix.
He doesn't fall into the shooter.
Bosch's numbers, although weren't terrible, like I think he would have put up better numbers staying in Toronto.
I think they would have been comparable. I think Bosch had plateaued at that time when they went together.
Right. Fair enough.
I think he was at his max. So I think it was a good move on his part. I don't think he was a big part of the big three they had there. Honestly, I think it was Wade and LeBron. I think Bosch
he was the third guy that made that complete.
Here.
Yeah. He was like, hey, they're both like, hey, Bosch, he's good enough. Yeah, let's bring him.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was.
It's like, okay, he's kind of a ringer. Let's bring that guy along. People might not know it because he's been in Toronto all this time.
And that's the thing. It's like, we're having some down game. You got a good post game. Here you go.
Yeah. All right. So far you would have chose Melo over Mitch Richmond, Ant over Cat, and Matty Ice over Raplesberger.
I'm okay with that.
So
I'm okay with those choices.
The final one is you have to choose your own adventure with the three of them.
Oh.
So there's three.
God damn it.
And your only hint is they are receivers.
I'll receive you.
All right. Player number 1, 12,291 receiving yards, 83 touchdowns, 84.2 yards per game. Player number 2, 13,330 receiving yards, 61 touchdowns, 91.9 yards per game. Player number 3, 13,899 receiving yards, 130 touchdowns, but only 59.4 yards per game. Who are they? And which one would you take?
Give me ones again.
12,291 yards, 83 touchdowns, 84.2 yards per game.
Okay. Going with 1.
Okay.
I think 2 is AB.
2 you have is
Brown.
Okay.
3, I'm going to say... What are the tutties on 3?
130. I'm trying to write down who you
50,
picked for each one. So
56 yards per game. So that means he had a long career. Played in a lot of games for those yards. Wasn't always a productive career though. Had some tutties though.
a couple. He had a couple in there. Just one or two.
I'm going to throw a strange name. Probably not going to be it, but I'm going to throw Chris Carter.
For which one?
Number 3.
Number 3.
And then number 1, Ocho Cinco.
Ocho for 1, Chris Carter for 3. All right, so you said you were taking number 1.
Yes.
All right. Number 3, you guessed correctly, Chris Carter. Number 2, who you guessed was Antonio Brown, is Julio Jones.
Oh.
The one who you guessed as Ocho Cinco was Antonio Brown.
It's close!
So Chris Carter, who I look at as one of the best wideouts of all time, is only 569 yards ahead of Julio. And Antonio Brown, if he wasn't a fuck-up, would have already surpassed that. But that's his own...
And that's why I went with 2 being Antonio Brown, because I thought the yards per game made sense.
With the lower touchdown thing.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, Julio Jones, even though he was elite, only would get 3-4 touchdowns a year. Because he'd have one game with 2, and then have 2 the rest of the season.
Yeah.
He had that one season where he had 9, and other than that, he's had nothing.
And honestly, I almost said one was Megatron, but I knew he would have more yards.
I was honestly, the moment you said Chris Carter, it's I was like, I like it. I like it. Good job. Good on you.
I pieced it together. I was like, he had to have a long career.
I'm like, good on you.
Chris Carter had a long career. The tutties made sense.
And Chris Carter is 13th all time in yards. And then you have Julio Jones, who right now is 17th of all time, and if Antonio Brown gets another job, he's 24th currently. There is the closest active receiver behind him is Deshaun Jackson. And then D-Hop and A.J. Green. They're the only ones active over 10,000. Other than... oh, no, that was everybody who's active. I was like, they still have Larry Fitz as active, even though he's not. Yeah, I don't know why they haven't updated that highlight. But, yeah. So, yeah. Not bad on that last one.
No!
I like that one.
I was coming into stride there.
Yeah.
I just put AB in the wrong spot.
Ain't nobody going to break a yo stride. Nope.
Well, Chris Carter.
All right, we'll take another quick commercial break after that because I just wanted to get that in there. This way we get a bonus commercial break to help out for that super long intro that we did. It's like a wrestling show. We brought that first match, no commercials. Now we got to sneak some in there throughout the whole thing to get all these guys in there. So we'll be back again.
Let me change your socks.
What are we doing?
Let me change your socks.
You're very sneaky, sir. We'll be right back.
That's what we're doing with the commercial, sneaking in there. And we're back.
We are back.
Oh, wow.
That was good. That was good timing. Literally, as I hit it, you said it. Good job. So,
yeah, I'm getting this thing.
As you guys know...
Pretty soon I won't be an intern anymore.
So, as you guys know, this is NotAClue Podcast. You're listening here, Spreaker.com/shows/NotAClue Podcast. Follow us on Facebook. Facebook.com/NotAClue Podcast. Find us on the Twitter thingy.
Twitagra.
Is that the Viagra thing again? We're at NotAClue Pod there. We're on Instagram.
Instacart. No, Graham.
Whoa. NotAClue Podcast. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. First name of the channel, NotAClue, all one word. Second is podcast. So
again, that's YouTube.
Yes, it is. Also, you can find us Spotify, Tidal, Amazon. You can find us in a lot of places. Wherever you listen, let us know because I would like to know who finds us where because that's awesome.
I've never been to the Amazon.
That's fine. It's fine. I don't know if people from the Amazon have actually really been there. So, this is going to be a one-topic portion of the program here. What are your thoughts on David Ortiz being elected into the Hall of Fame with his steroid juicing past, but not Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and then Curt Schilling to get thrown in there too because he's Hall of Fame worthy in my opinion.
I agree. I'm going to jump right in with the one out of the three that I can compare more closely to Ortiz than the others because, pitchers to batters.
Yeah.
Or not.
But Clemens is one of the greatest pitchers.
No. I agree.
Legitly.
I agree. But I'm going to bring up Bonds because Bonds was a complete hitter. It's not Bonds was always jacking home runs.
And before his head became Gigantor head, he was putting up good average, home runs, and he was putting up freaking stolen bases and shit.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, he was the first person really to hit that, first person I can remember, I'm going to say, to really hit that club of the stolen bases, the home runs. He started that era.
Yeah, like
in my head.
Like I'm right now. I'm on his statistics page. I'm on baseballreference.com here.
I got his name right here too.
And you look at his numbers. Again, people are like, "Oh, but he didn't really know." Okay, for a guy who he had 25 home runs, he had 16 in his rookie season, 25, 24, 19, and then 33, 25, 34. Then when he went to the Giants. 46, 37, 33, 42, 40, 37, 34, 49, some number named 73, 46, 45, 45, and then it was 5, 26, and 28. He was injured in 2005, so
yeah.
It was 762 freaking home runs, almost 2,000 RBIs. He had, I'm just looking at his walks, he had 2,558 in his career. He struck out only 1,539 times.
That's what I mean. Like,
He had just a shade under 300 for batting average. 298.
I mean, he's had, but what, just a shade under 10,000 at-bats?
Yeah.
And struck out only 1,500 times?
Yeah.
And early on in his career,
he was
stolen bases that he was getting, man.
36 in his rookie season. 32, 17, 32, 52, 43, 39, 29. He had 29 in that year. We're at 46 home runs, 123.
I was going to say, 73 home run season, he still had 13 stolen bases. And if you remember looking at that Barry Bonds...
Yeah, no, that's
you
not...
did not think he was going to steal a base.
And 3 years prior, he still was doing 28, 37, 40. It's like, Jesus.
And if you're going to let somebody in who's used, has a history of using...
It's got to be him first.
Exactly. Because he is a more complete hitter...
Yeah.
Than, or even batter in general... than the other one.
In 1990, I'm going to use that line.
That's a great line.
He was a 301 hitter. He had 33 home runs, 114 RBIs, 52 stolen bases. His on-base percentage was 406.
He was walked 93 times still.
Yeah, and he struck out only 83 times that season. I'm sorry, that was before people thought he juiced. When he hit San Francisco, that's when people were like, oh, wait a minute, it's because he went to San Francisco. No offense to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like, Pittsburgh at that time, him and Bonilla on the same freaking team. I mean, that was a formidable duo. But then he went to San Francisco, and that's where shit changed.
I mean...
People all of a sudden goes, oh, his head's gotten bigger.
As long as they weren't playing Checkball Super Bowl, I can deal with Bobby Bo.
You talking about Bo Jackson and Lawrence Taylor?
Lawrence Taylor was nothing.
He could tackle the shit out of you, though.
Lawrence Taylor was nothing.
Whoa. Is that just...
Fucking giant.
Wow. But also, that 1990 season, he was an MVP.
Yes.
It's like, holy crap. I mean, he also won the MVP in 1992.
Yep.
As a Pittsburgh Pirate. Then he won the MVP in 93. Then he won the MVP in 2001 and 2002 and 2003.
Yeah, how do you...
So, we're just gonna be... He was a 7-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 8-time Gold Glover, 2-time batting champion, 12-time Silver Slugger. Also won the Home Run Derby once. If he never got on the Hall of Fame with all that statistics, why the hell is the Hall of Fame existing?
Yeah, you might as well just call it the Hall of...
Pretty good.
We don't like you, so you're not getting in.
Yes, and that was my point. Because now, look at him, and look at David Ortiz, who has always been looked at as the jovial, friendly, nice guy.
Yeah.
He has a mean streak, but he was the guy that was approachable.
Yeah, jokeable.
Those writers love Big Papi.
Oh, yeah.
And he got a pass, obviously, in the Hall of Fame voting because he is tarnished with the Hall of Fame stuff. He genuinely is. People are like, oh, no, he really was. I'm sorry. He was. Now I'm going to look at his stats because he really didn't come through until toward the end of his Minnesota career before he went to...
Yeah.
Because I'm literally looking at this. He only played in 15 games, 86 games, and 10 games his first 3 seasons in the big leagues. In 2000 was his first real run where he had 130 games. He had 10 home runs and 63 RBIs. That's it. He had a stolen base. Big dude. So he had a stolen base. That's good.
No.
His career high was 4 in a season, by the way. And then he dropped back down to only 89 games. And then he was in 125 games in 2002. This is where he started producing. He had 32 doubles, 20 home runs, 75 RBIs, stolen base. 2003, he had 31 home runs, 101 RBIs, then 41, 139, 47, 148, 54, 137, 35, 117, so on and so on and so on. He was steady. He was 35, 23, 28, 32, 29, 23, 30, 35, 37, 38. It's like, Jesus. And he walked 1,319 times, struck out 1,700, but still, a long career, only 1,700 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, he still batted .286, he predominantly was DH,
Yeah.
which is another thing that used to be a bad word for them.
Well, yeah.
The writers I'm talking about.
Yeah, because
I mean,
you didn't do
he's
everything.
10-time All-Star, World Series MVP, three-time World Series winner, 7 times that's a big thing, World Series winner, because Bonds, 7-time Silver Slugger, also home run derby champ. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had a very good career. I mean, he is a Hall of Famer. I completely say he is. But should he have gotten in before any of the names I said prior? No. No. Not even Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling is a postseason guy. Everyone's like, oh, postseason is it? No. Postseason, CD would agree if you were here. Postseason is the part of the season.
It is.
It really is. Because the bloody sock game alone just helps that. But
that's what you're playing for.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
Playing for the post. Like, who cares about regular season? You want to be in the postseason.
I mean, regular season stats are.
But what I'm saying is you want all you need to do. LeBron James mentality, or sorry, I'm going to use Greg Popovich right now.
Yeah.
If I'm still going to make the playoffs, and I can put these guys that don't need to play over here to save them, I'm playing for the playoffs.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing, because my job as a coach
is
to win a championship.
Yep.
How do you win a championship? You got to make it to the playoffs.
Yep.
Check.
Absolutely.
After making the playoffs, it's beating everybody in the playoffs.
Yep.
Very important part of the game.
Yep.
Again, that's what they pay them for.
It's and one thing I will also say, not to beat a dead horse here, but Bonds and Clemens especially, Schilling should have gotten in eventually. Should already been there.
Yeah.
This shouldn't have been a debate. This shouldn't have had anything. Because now that they let him in, and it makes it worse that it's in their all last season for eligibility, because that's a bigger insult, in my opinion. That's a giant kick in the ding, and I there's no other way I can say it, but that is the writer's giant middle finger send off to those 3 individuals, especially the first 2, Clemens and Bonds.
Yeah,
that is the giant middle finger. Go fuck yourselves. Look at this. This guy who we like, who wasn't a dick like you guys were,
and
which I hate that I have to say that. I hate it. Because I live my life of trying to be a nicer guy, and it is being nice. I was always taught it's supposed to help you. In this case, it did, but it shouldn't change the resume of the person.
No,
especially when the resume for 2 of those guys, no offense to David Ortiz here, is much better.
Honestly, that's what you should have did. You should have gave me a blind resume baseball of Ortiz and of Bonds.
Yeah, but I would have said the stat of Bonds, and you'd be like, well, it's Barry Bonds.
I know.
But I could have done a David Ortiz one, because I could have thrown somebody with 500 home runs, and you'd have been like, oh, I could be anybody.
But what I'm saying is just to show the disparity.
Yeah. Sure, no, you're not wrong.
And then go into this topic and then like...
So, David Ortiz is 17th all-time in home runs.
Okay.
He's 17, which that's a very good number.
Yeah.
It really is.
Respectable.
Yep. He is, and I'm throwing this name out there, he's actually 5 ahead of Mickey Mantle, which that's a great number. That's a great person.
Great name to have,
yeah.
You know.
Barry Bonds is 7 ahead of Hank Aaron. And Hank Aaron was the be and end all.
Yeah.
For batting.
Was the guy.
And then before that, it was Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
A-Rod is 4th with 696. If he gets in, there's going to be a bigger problem, I think, for the writers. Because he was the dick that is now turned into
nice guy.
Friendly guy who wants everyone to be like, I'm likable. And then you have...
That's why he dated J-Lo.
Oh, she's still very attractive. Albert Pujols.
She's Jenny from the block.
She is. Yes, she's on the 6. Then you have Pujols, who is still active. He played for my team this year, the Dodgers. 679 home runs. And then you have Mays, Griffey Jr., Jim Tomei, Sammy Sosa, Frank Robinson. Sammy Sosa's another one of those guys who didn't get in. He didn't get in. Mark McGwire, who didn't get in. Rafael Palmeiro, who didn't get in. Harmon Killebrews before him. I left him out for some reason. I totally went past his name. Reggie Jackson. Manny Ramirez, who's also in that list of steroidal people.
Yeah.
Mike Schmidt, who's one of my favorite players of all time. David Ortiz, Mickey Mantle, Jimmy Fox. Then you have McCovey, Frank Thomas. I'm going down the list to get to the next steroid guy. 26th, Gary Sheffield with 509. Then you have Eddie Murray. Miguel Cabrera, who's still playing, but he probably won't. I think he might be done now. 502. Those are your 500 and above guys in the history of baseball. And so I'm going to go Bonds. So count along with me here.
Yep.
Bonds, A-Rod. You can throw Pujols in there because he played in that time frame. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Rafael Palmeiro, Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, because he played in it too. And then you have Gary Sheffield and technically Miguel Cabrera, because those are the guys who played in this era. And to split hair, I could say Jim Tomei and Ken Griffey Jr. Just to split, yeah. So out of those guys in the steroidal era who have 500 and more home runs, Bonds didn't get in, so that's one. Then you have Sammy Sosa didn't get in, that's two. McGwire hasn't gotten in, that's three. Palmeiro, 4. Gary Sheffield, 5. Those are the ones completely that have been linked to it. And then you have A-Rod, or did I say A-Rod before?
You said A-Rod in our counting.
Okay, so that list has 6 A-Rod. And then you have Pujols, who, even though he's been in the conversation, nothing even close to positive. He was always constant. Yeah. Even in his old age, he's still putting up 20 home runs. Griffey Jr. always had the natural swing. Jim Tomei just was a big dude anyway.
Yeah.
Mark McGwire. I'm looking at these guys. I know I'm, again, not to beat a dead horse by saying beating a dead horse. I'm trying to figure out like why some of these guys are going to get in and some didn't. From the same era. Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown winner. Multiple-time Triple Crown winner. He should be in over 500 home runs now. Gary Sheffield was a great hitter. Mashed the shit out of the ball. Frank Thomas. Forgot Frank Thomas. He was in the steroidal talk.
Oh, yeah.
At the when he retired, everyone's like, look at the size of that son of a bitch. How come that tree trunk didn't get involved in this? David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez has 555. Like, he was juicing. Rafael Palmeiro got busted talking in fucking Congress. I'm trying to figure out what makes it different for some of these guys. And you're going to probably have A-Rod eventually get in. Pujols is going to get in. Ortiz already got in. Miguel Cabrera is going to get in. Those are my definites, I think, out of that list.
I'm sorry. The Hall of Fame has lost all credibility.
Oh, that's part
of Baseball Hall of Fame is
the hall of what we choose.
Hall of fuck you.
Honestly, because again, I will state this again. David Ortiz, no offense to him.
Good player. Deserves to be in.
Getting into the Hall of Fame with his tie to Manny Ramirez and the steroidal shit. On the last year of eligibility for Clemens and Bonds especially, is the giant middle finger to them because they're like, look, he's a nice guy. We liked him all along. Fuck you.
Yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, they did it to Pete Rose.
Yeah. And they're still doing it to Pete Rose.
And that's he bet on games, but obviously he didn't play bad because of it.
No, he bet on games when he was a coach. He bet on games when he was a coach, not when he was a player. So they frowned upon his playing stats for stuff he did after he was retired, which to me is bullshit too. But that's still that's
like a job being I'm taking away your retirement because
before you were hired here. Yeah.
No, because after you retired from here.
You
started doing some stuff that was against our policy.
Yes.
So your retirement's coming back to us.
Yeah, it's bullshit stuff. It's like, we've stricken you from the record, and all the years you worked here now don't count.
Yep, you don't exist.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep. How? I don't... Ugh. It's one of the most infuriating topics that I think honestly, I wish we had like 5 of us in the room right now.
But I think they would all be in agreement.
Oh, yes, but I mean, we would all come up with different reasons, though. I mean, CD would have a bunch of different reasons on top of it, which would then snowball me into a bunch of other reasons, which then I think would take your brother into different directions, you in different directions, and Bill in different directions. Like, we would be bouncing so heavily. Like, instead of 20 minutes like this has been, I guarantee you we could have spent over an hour just on that topic, and we could have done a whole show on just this topic. Which is why I wish COVID would be done, and I wish that shit would make it so that all of us could get together again just once a fucking week or once every other week. So, anyway, that's me venting.
Come together.
Yeah, That's a very expensive song.
That's all.
Expensive song.
That's all.
All right,
I'm getting out.
All right, so we're going to hit a commercial break. We're going to talk some NBA action and our recap of the fantasy year. So you're listening here to NotAClue Podcast here at Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue Podcast. We'll be back in a few seconds after this commercial break.
Racist.
And we're back with the word racist as the first thing that comes out. This is NotAClue Podcast. I'm Brad.
I'm not.
That's not your line. That's not your line.
It's the intern Kenneth.
That's the intern Kenneth. Or on a different show, he would be referred to as
The Sultry Sounds of Keith K. from North Country Tigers.
There it is. All right. Crossover. Anyway, this is NotAClue Podcast. You can listen here, Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue Podcast, Facebook.com/NotAClue Podcast, on Twitter at NotAClue Pod, Instagram NotAClue Podcast, YouTube channel. First name of the channel, NotAClue, all one word, Seconds Podcast. Also find us on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Tidal, any place you get your potties.
Any place you get your racks off.
Yes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, so I'm going to ask you a generic blank statement about the NBA, just to get the NBA talk in here.
Square root of 7.
False.
Oh.
Any surprises so far in the NBA this year, whether it's team, player, or both? Which would
it's the Heat's record. Being atop the East right now.
That is, yeah.
They've been quietly good without everybody healthy.
True. That's fair assessment.
And speaks a lot about their team.
Yep.
The pandemic fluke that everybody thought, no, the Heat, because there's no fans and all this, when the Heat were falling out.
Well, getting Jimmy Buckets and now Kyle Lowry and stuff like that.
Lowry.
It's fitting that someone in Lowry is in Miami, but anyway, that's another thing for another day.
Another dollar.
Yeah. Another bill collecting caller. Anyway.
And then Vucevic.
Oh, what about him?
He plays for the Chicago Bulls. They're second in the East right now.
They are. They are by half.
Hey, who said it? I know it's not because of Vucevic, but who said you build a team around Vucevic?
You may have.
I did.
It is not him, by the way.
I know. He is not the reason why they're out where they are.
I am about ready to tell you what is his.
It doesn't matter. It's the presence.
Are you sure?
It's the presence of Nikola Vucevic.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Okay, so here are your stats.
It's his presence, man. I'm telling you.
Yes, that's what it is.
It is.
Right, so
he carries this team.
So for some reason, I'm clicking to load this up, and it is not doing it. There it is. It finally happened. Vucevic is 16.5 points per game.
Solid.
I mean, that's not terrible. I'm not saying it.
As your starting center.
Yeah. I mean, he's a double-double guy. He's got 11-3 on the boards.
I mean, 43% from the field, 33% from behind the arc, 75% or 74%, sorry, from the free throw line.
Yep.
Getting those 11 boards a game.
Yeah.
He's got almost 4 assists as a center.
Yeah.
You know, that's court vision for a center.
Yeah.
Steal and a block. Defensively, solid numbers.
Yeah. No, I said he's a very good player. But I did say I kind of agreed with CD.
I know. I know you did.
Where he's not the main piece, but if he was your number 2 or 3 piece, you're fine. Because DeRozan's playing his ass off. Zach LaVine's playing very well. And the acquisition of someone like Lonzo Ball did not hurt either.
So, yes, but they built around Vucevic.
You're going to, again, beat the dead horse.
They built around him.
I thought it was Mac McClung that they went around. But anyway.
The Vucevic. That trade did it all.
Whoa.
When they traded for Vucevic, they etched their names in the annals of history.
In the anal of history.
Mark my word, Chicago wins the ship.
Well, your boy Vucevic is just out of the top 5 in rebounds per game. Sabonis is 5th with 11.9, so he's that close to the top 5. But any other surprises that you have before I go into my surprises?
Welcome back, Klay Thompson. It's not really a surprise, but
no, you knew it was coming. But I mean, he sat out yesterday or whatever it was with sore knee. But still, I mean, he's been out for 15 years with knee injuries.
Yeah, welcome back, Klay Thompson.
Yes,
good for basketball.
Oh, absolutely. Oh God, absolutely.
My Knicks are okay.
One of my surprises, I'm gonna go with a team that I think is a surprise. The Atlanta Hawks.
The Hawks
being 12th in the East after last year.
So I didn't think the Hawks had a good team last year. I was not a fan of the Hawks. I think too much hype was on Ice Trae.
He's a good player, though. He really is.
He is, but I'm sorry, you can't rely on somebody that plays like him to carry you fully. You need those pieces around him, and I don't think they have them.
Oh, Collins isn't a bad piece.
Collins isn't a bad piece, but I still don't think they have the pieces around him to be where they should.
So, okay, now I'm going to ask a question. Trae Young gets compared to players like Steph Curry. How come it can work for that team, but not that team?
The shooters on Steph Curry's team
are lights out.
Are shooters.
Yes, minus Draymond.
Which he's the
other stat filler.
He's that chess piece that everybody needs.
Yeah,
he's the
rough-edged, but or as what CD would put him, the most overrated, underrated player.
So I'm going to use one of mine. He's the jack of all trades. He's I'm here to do all the things. I don't do them great, but I do them.
It's true.
That's what he is.
Okay.
That's what I used to call myself when I played, because I was not an amazing shooter and all this. I did everything okay.
When I played, I took after my father. I shot the ball very well.
I did everything okay.
I growing up, I won 3-point contests and all that shit, so I could shoot the ball. I want to talk about my team for a second, the Celtics. I'm surprised they're 9th.
Okay.
They're above 500, yes, but they're 9th.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. Are you surprised with Charlotte being 7th right now? And Cleveland being 5th in the East?
So, Cleveland being 5th, yes.
Cleveland has a good young team, though. They're another one of those teams that tore the shit right down, minus Kevin Love, and built it all back up.
But I still didn't think they would be here.
Oh, they're ahead of schedule. I think they're ahead of schedule.
I didn't think they would be here now.
They're... which team could I compare it to a couple years ago that made it further than they should have?
I'm trying to think.
There was a team a couple years ago that I was like, oh, they're way ahead of schedule. Was it the Bucks a couple before they won it? Yeah, it was the Bucks before they won it. I think the Bucks were ahead of schedule at that point, and then they turned into what they were.
I love how we keep hammering the East right now.
Yeah, well, out west, I mean, out west,
it's the usual suspects.
Well, you have Phoenix and Golden State, but then you have the Grizzlies,
which
third.
Okay,
the Jazz, I don't think are as real as the record says because they blew a huge lead to the fucking Pistons and let the Pistons then just run all over them. I can't take that. No offense to the Pistons, but when you're an 11-36 team like the Pistons are, and you do that, it makes me think, okay, you might not be as real as you think. Dallas has been really struggling.
Yeah.
Denver isn't what I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be a little better than 6th. The Timberwolves, I'm pleasantly surprised at 7.
They got some good pieces.
You had the Lakers and the Clippers fighting it out for 8 and 9. And then Portland and the Pelicans and the Spurs.
And I'm going to say it now. I said it before the season. I know we probably didn't have many things on it, but the Russell Westbrook adding that the Lakers did was the dumbest thing they could have fucking done.
Well, I did say earlier. I said it's Russell, so I mean, you just...
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing they could have fucking done.
Yeah. When you have a facilitator, like a legit facilitator, again, I will go back to D-Wade. Even though he might not have been a point guard, but he was the facilitator. You had Kyrie, a legit facilitator. I know the Lakers won it, but the Lakers also had Davis and all sorts of shit to help out.
It was the dumbest thing they did bringing him in.
Russell? Yeah. I hate when teams try to appease big name guys because sometimes it's not going to work.
No.
And what do you think about Brooklyn with part-time Kyrie and legitly it's pissing off Harden to the point where he is talking about leaving.
Yeah.
So that's not good. That's not good at all.
Well, I am going to say something that I said on flag football on Sunday. It's like I loved how at the beginning of the year, James Harden's points per game were non-existent because the guy wasn't getting to the free throw line because they weren't calling all that bullshit of his flopping fucking ass.
Yes.
It made me a happy motherfucker.
Same here. I'm going to go on the record and say I don't think Keith liked it. Especially him. But I do have to quickly say one other thing here before we change into other things. Just to throw this out there for all the I mentioned the Nuggets really fast. The Joker made history tonight, becoming the only player in NBA history to have 5,000 rebounds and 3,000 assists before his first 500 games were completed. That's pretty good. Plus, you got to think he scores points and all that shit. I said a few years ago he's going to be one of the elite players in the league. I was kind of scoffed at that time, but
I said Vucevic.
You may have said Vucevic. But I did say he's a guy that he's an integral piece that is a team you could build around because he does everything.
I said Vucevic.
And then, speaking of players you might want to build a team around, Tim Hardaway Jr.
Vucevic.
Tim Hardaway Jr., who is a frequent topic on this show considering certain Knicks fans were a part of this.
All that money he got that he's in Dallas with.
Suffered a fractured foot tonight.
Oh darn, that's an expensive foot fracture.
So he's gonna be out for a while.
That's an expensive bench warmer got there.
Yeah. And then the Celtics, I just said they were disappointing, won by 53 tonight against Sacramento. 128-75.
Well, in their offense, it was Sacramento.
Well, Sacramento.
I know.
I'm looking here. Sacramento actually would be the same place if they were in both leagues. But still.
37% win percentage right now.
So, I'm going to go to the season leaders, and I'm going to go top 5 for certain things. And you tell me if there's anything that stands out for...
Vucevic.
He's not on. I'm sorry.
No, that's what stands out. He's not on him.
Since I know how you are, I will start with steals per game.
Defense.
You have Murray with 2. DeJounte Murray with 2. Marcus Smart with 2. Chris Paul with 2. You have Matisse Thybulle with 1.8 and Gary Trent Jr. with 1.8. Any name on that list, kind of surprising because honestly, this you have good defenders right there, in my opinion.
No.
If you follow basketball, you know that you might not know those names, especially number 1, 4, and 5, because Marcus Smart's a name because he plays for Boston and he's the mouthy guy on the team, and Chris Paul's fucking State Farm, so people know who they are.
Like a good neighbor.
Yes, he is there. Apparently, he's stealing from you, and I don't know why State Farm keeps him there, because that goes against what they're talking. But that's besides the point.
Let us protect your assets with the guy who steals shit.
Yeah, the irony of that is actually kind of funny right now.
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think? So, nobody. Okay, blocks per game. You have Miles Turner, 2.8. Rudy Gobert, 2.3. Jaren Jackson Jr., 2.2. Robert Williams, III for Boston, 2.1. And Mo Bamba, 2.1 in Orlando. Your brother, we just said Orlando. He had a wiggle. Any name on that list jump out at you as shocking or anything?
I didn't expect it from, what's his name? Boston guy.
Robert Williams?
Yes. The Mr. Time Lord himself.
I'm all right with it.
I didn't expect it from him. Like, he wasn't somebody on my radar for that.
Well, again, it's Boston. People are always on the radar because that's a big name team. But he is a guy that's under the radar on that team.
Yeah.
As a fan, I'm going to honestly say he is under the radar for that team. When he is not there, which he was out for 2-3 games, it hurt them, and it actually hurts Tatum's game because Tatum, with him being a guy that can be underneath and be in the mid-range area to compensate, because he was when Robert Williams was hurt, he struggled. Robert Williams came back a couple games ago. Holy shit, he put up 50-some-odd points the other night. It's like, oh, hey, welcome back. All right, now we're going to go assists per game. Chris Paul, 10.2. James Harden, 10.1. Trae Young, 9.3. DeJounte Murray, again on a list with 9.0. And Kyle Lowry at 8.3. That's...
No.
Again, there's one name on that list that not a household name.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray. Not a household name, but I know who the fuck he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon and CD know who he is.
Yeah.
We know who he is.
It's basketball.
Yes. If you follow, you know he's a very good player. San Antonio has a good player there.
San Antonio usually does have a good player.
Especially a couple defenders.
Exactly.
They always do.
They usually don't go without one.
They're not the same offensive team, which is why it's so different. They also don't have Hall of Famers underneath like Tim Duncan and David Robinson.
Yeah.
They also don't have Tony Parker and all those fucking guys. And I almost said Rudy Giuliani. Holy God.
Wow. Really? I thought you were talking about good people in Hall of Fame.
I don't know where that came from. Anyway, rebounds per game. You have Rudy Gobert on another list with 15.1. The Joker, 13.9. Clint Capella for Atlanta, another good player that Atlanta has, 12.8. Valanciunas, who I really like, 12 points. And Sabonis with 11.9. Those are all guys who rebound the frig out of the ball.
Again, these are people that I would think
15.1 though stands out for me for Rudy Gobert.
No,
that's a good number. That's a good number.
Well, tell teams to stop missing.
Oh, Donovan Mitchell being out. I mean, it's
I know.
And then your points per game, like this is a who's list. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Joel Embiid, the Greek Freak, and Trae Young. There's one name on that list I don't like. That I genuinely don't like.
The Process?
Yes. He is like there's in a league full of big mouth wine asses who can't back it up.
I was just about to say he is a big baby.
He is Glenn Davis,
not
big baby.
Not to be confused with
he
big
is
baby Ben.
Because he will have a mouth until someone does something, and then he cries like a fucking bitch. I don't like Joel Embiid. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but
I have one of those.
I don't. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I
for pooping silly.
Oh my god. I don't trust his process. What's 76ers. What's your thought on the Ben Simmons thing before we go to a commercial? Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't have an opinion. I'm sorry.
Both sides have fucked it up. 76ers fucked it up, and he fucked it up. Because he fucked it up by not wanting to listen to them, and then they just started shutting him out, which then shut him out completely mentally. Which you don't do that when someone says they're going through mental shit.
Yeah, it's honestly, I know he just wanted to get out of
the situation. Yeah, I agree. But both sides did not play it well.
No,
they did not.
It's a shit show.
It is. Speaking of shit shows, we're going to commercial because this shit show has one more segment left. We're going to talk about our fantasy football league and our season. And you're listening here to NotAClue Podcast. It's Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue Podcast. You're all sexy, by the way. Keep going. Intern Kenneth, ladies and gentlemen.
My beatboxing skills.
The theme music is provided by The Future Home, which is something that I do, comedy music. So check that out if you would like. You can find it on TikTok, The Future Home Band. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, just anywhere you want to find it. Because anytime you listen to that kind of stuff, I make money.
Ooh,
I haven't made a lot. It's not good.
His royalty checks are like pennies.
I just had a deposit. My biggest deposit drop in since the first one, where it was like the start.
Yeah,
I had my biggest deposit of 45 cents for a month.
Wow,
that was my royalty check. 45 cents.
I didn't know I was on a show with a famous person.
I know. I make a hail pennies in this bitch. But anyway, yeah, please go listen to The Future Home, especially on Spotify and YouTube. Those are the places where I get the most monies. You can also find it on Amazon, Tidal, any place you can stream music. It's pretty much there, or comedy, whichever you want to word it. The tagline for it is music and comedy at its worst. So there you go. It's a rousing response by me, a review, I should say. So our fantasy football league this year was not won by either one of us, unlike the last couple years. It did not stay in the KA name. It went to the Homes. So our second Jason has now won a title as well. We've had 2 KAs, 2 Lewises, and now we've had 2 Jasons.
We have yet to have a repeat, right?
No, because Josh won it as well.
Yeah. We had Aaron, we had CD,
Jason,
me, you,
and Josh. Yeah, Josh was in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been
a new winner every season.
Yeah. Eventually, it's going to come back to a repeat, and I have a strange feeling we're not going to enjoy it when it's a certain person.
A Jason?
No, and the thing is, it sucked for both of us. It's COVID year, and we don't do softball anymore and shit. So, I mean, you could have taken advantage of it with flag.
Yeah.
You could have literally walked in with the ring and the bell and been like, no. You could have embarrassed the shit out of like CD wanted to do to us. But, anyway. So, who do you think had the most fantasy points for our format in our...
I know it's going to be a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Quarterbacks are top heavy.
Yes, always are. Yes, exactly.
I'm going to go with, it's got to be a good combo guy.
Whoa.
Josh Allen.
He was third. Take one more guess.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray was... Remember I said...
I know.
I gave you the thing earlier.
I know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th.
Matthew Stafford.
Stafford was 5th.
H.H. Holmes. Not Patrick Mahomes.
He was fourth.
Jalen Hurts. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's not even on the first page. Holy Jesus.
I'm kidding. The Thomas of Brady's.
He was number one.
The Thomas of Brady's.
Yep.
He was on Brandon's team.
Yes. Yes, he was. And then number 2 was Herbert, Justin Herbert.
Hebert?
Yep. And you had Allen, Mahomes, Stafford, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, which I was very happy because I had him.
I had none of those guys.
And then you had Kyler Murray, Derek Carr. Where are you? Carson Wentz was your first name on this list. Yep, he was 13th, ironically. Oh, there's Jalen Hurts. I overlooked him. He's 14th. He statistically, in the analytics side, he actually didn't have that terrible of a season, Jalen Hurts. I'm actually going to be totally honest. I know we discussed this off the air, but I will let you guess, like you did, Breyer. Who was the first non-quarterback to be on our list? Do you remember?
I remember.
So who did you say first?
Jonathan Taylor.
You said Jonathan Taylor first. He was second on that list.
Yeah. And then it's Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, yeah. Cooper Kupp overall on our league was 12th. Jonathan Taylor overall in our league was 18th. And then, do you want to take a guess who the next position player was? And they would have been 21st overall, by the way, in our league setup.
Yeah, Travis Kelce?
No. Deebo Samuel.
It was Deebo!
Yep. And then Jamar Chase was next, and Devontae Adams was after that. So now here's a fantasy question. If Aaron Rodgers isn't on Green Bay next year, is Devontae still technically number one, or is Kupp ahead of him and Chase ahead of him and Deebo ahead of him technically, or just because of the name and what he's done continuously still gives him the cred?
I wouldn't take him over the others if no Rodgers. I always look at the pass thrower whenever I look at a receiver. Who's throwing who the ball?
Yeah, but Jimmy G throws the ball. The Samuel, I don't know where that accent came from, but
he runs the ball too. There's all sorts of shit that Deebo does.
Well, Cooper Kupp's put up great numbers, and he had Goff and now Stafford.
So I think it's different though with Kupp, because Kupp used to be a quarterback. Kupp reads the defenses like the quarterback reads the defenses.
So another name I want to throw into this mix, because he had a quarterback that was on the top 10 list of Kirk Cousins, of Justin Jefferson. If Kirk Cousins come back, is Justin Jefferson also in that mix of the top? Because he was, in our setup, he was 5th overall, just barely behind Devontae Adams.
And
because after you get past those 5, Kupp, Samuel, Chase, Adams, Jefferson, there is a 40-point drop to Tyreek Hill, and then another 25-point drop to Diggs. Those are our top guys in the league for that position. Again, I will ask, also D-Hop got hurt, and he's always put up numbers regardless who the hell throws him the ball.
And I don't think Adams is that kind of receiver, though.
Okay.
We've never had Adams without...
You've only had it for a smattering of games here and there. Yeah.
I think they're going to run more than they would pass without Rodgers there.
Fair enough.
They got the people for that. So
all right.
I see that being the thing, so I see his production going down. He might still get some tutties.
But it's
not going to be the production with Rodgers. So I don't see him as the number one off.
So,
I mean, if he's sitting there at 5, I might, as the 5th wide receiver anyways. Not 5 overall, because we all know I'm a running back guy.
So now we know Jonathan Taylor was number 1 as the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Who followed him? There are 3 guys that scored over 300 points. Jonathan Taylor's one of them. Who were the next 2?
Joe Mixon?
Nope. Joe Mixon was 4th in the running back list,
okay.
but he was under 300.
Chubb?
Nope. Chubb would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th in the running back list. Remember, he missed time.
I know he missed time. Calvin Cook missed time, too.
Dalvin Cook is behind Chubb. He is 13, 14, 15, 16th total. He played 13 games. Chubb played 14 games.
I'm running through names. Hold on. Stand by.
Stand by one. They integrated my work into that. I don't know what that means.
I'm talking to myself.
What does that mean?
I'm talking to myself.
I'm talking to myself.
Swift?
Swift was just behind Chubb by exactly 2.3 points.
Running out of immediate.
Would you like me to? Well, you had one of them.
Trying to remember who I had. I stopped paying attention to my team after the regular season because I didn't make playoffs by that one, so I didn't do a thing after that.
Yeah, but those points still count on the thing.
I didn't do a thing after that.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know. I'm trying to think of who I had. Is what it is. With the two multiple fantasy leagues this year.
Well, now I will tell you because you had Cook. He was down on the list. Najee Harris. He was third.
Oh.
Second was Austin Eckler. Then you had Joe Mixon, the surprising James Conner, Leonard Fournette, Zeke Elliott still producing, Cordero Patterson, Antonio Gibson, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones. Then you got Chubb, Swift, Jacobs. Then you had Damian Harris, Cook. Derrick Henry still is there. Derrick Henry still had over 200 fantasy points in 8 games. The closest person in games played was Cook, who was 5 more games and only had 4.5 more points. That's crazy. And you had Juggernaut Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. So those two guys on the same team. Legitly. This was for our league. Williams 208.9, Gordon 207.1. That's insane right there. Both of them had the same amount of rushes with 203. That's
running back by committee.
That is the epitome of running back by committee. Then you had Singletary, who came on toward the end. And then David Montgomery, who missed 4 games. And then you had Damian Williams, A.J. Dillon, James Robinson, who got screwed over. And then you had Myles Gaskin rounding out the first 25.
Yeah, some urban guy screwed him over.
And then now we'll go tight ends. We'll do that tight end. Yeah, the guy was knuckle deep half the season.
Yeah.
All right, so who was the number 1 tight end?
Me.
Whoa. Hello.
Sorry.
Hello. How are
As
you?
I point at my tight end.
Hey.
Lakayam.
You are not right.
I'm going to be hard not to go with Kelsey.
It is not Kelsey. Kelsey was number 2.
Number dos. So, if not Kelsey, it's not Kittle. It's going to be... yeah, it's not Kittle, right?
Who do we target?
Me.
Who's the guy that we were always like, he's not those guys, so we're getting him.
Mark Andrews?
Yes.
I didn't think he had that good of a season.
He was number 1. He had 107 catches for 1,361 yards. He had 305.1 fantasy points for our league setup.
Maybe I just stopped following him because
Kelsey was second.
Because Lamar Jackson sucked ass.
Dalton Schultz was third. Dalton Schultz was third. Followed by George Kittle, Zach Ertz, Kyle Pitts, Rob Gronkowski, Dawson Knox, like we talked about earlier, Mike Gesicki, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry, Noah Fant, Pat Freiermuth, Tyler Higbee, TJ Hawkinson, Tyler Conklin was there, Jared Cook, CJ Uzama, Darren Waller, he missed time, that's why he's so far down, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, David Njoku, Evan Ingram, Austin Hooper, and Foster Moreau were the top 25 for our league. The 23 of them at that 25 list had over 100 fantasy points.
I had Pitt.
I had T.J. Hawkinson, but I had to drop him by the end of the year. And that was it. Oh, Gerald Everett. I picked him up after I dropped Hawkinson. So I had those two guys. That's it for that list for my tight ends. And now, the one that I know everyone's been waiting for, defenses. Which defense?
Top scoring defense, Dallas.
That's correct. Now, there were a total of 5 in our league setup that had over 200 fantasy points. Dallas is one of them. Who were the next ones? The next 4?
Arizona?
No.
Well, they started off the year with a couple of touchdowns. Tutties. Washington?
No. Whoa, no. God, no.
Yeah, they won lots of games, right?
Washington's not even on the top 25 list here. Which means they're in the bottom.
Denver?
Nope. They were actually one behind Arizona, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 was Arizona, 12 was Denver.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay was not. They were the next one out of the 200. 193 was what they had.
New England.
They were third. They had 215 fantasy points in our league setup.
I knew they would probably be in there.
That is not a team. All your cats are looking at you like, what the hell are you doing? Like he just peeked his head up like, what the fuck? So Dallas and New England.
Bills?
The Bills were second. Neither one of the next 2 teams made the playoffs. Just to throw
Carolina?
that out. No, Carolina. I thought I saw them at the bottom of that list. Yes, they were 24th. One's an NFC team, one's an AFC team.
Colts?
Colts were just behind Tampa Bay. I had them.
No.
Sure.
Eagles?
Nope. Eagles were further down the list, too.
I figured as much.
Eagles were...
The Bears?
Nope. Chicago was... Okay. Right there. 2019. Wait. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 2019. 18th. Chicago's 18th.
Seattle?
Seattle, no.
Didn't think so.
This was a tough one. Actually, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard to go.
Giants?
Nope.
Okay.
You pretty much named...
That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty much hit all the NFC fucking teams.
That didn't make the playoffs.
Atlanta?
No.
That's another NFC team.
Same division.
The Saints?
Correct. Like I said, that
you mean Sean Payton, who's stepping down from coaching?
Yeah, they were 4th. But it's like, how? I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, they had 46 sacks, 18 picks, 7 fumble recoveries, 2 touchdowns, and 2 block kicks. The block kick thing, I think, helps them out. And then just to...
AFC, hold on. I'm going to give you one more AFC guess.
Okay. I can give you a huge hint. You
The Dolphins.
You are correct. Yes. They had... Yeah.
Did it!
Yeah, they were 5th in our league setup. That's crazy.
Call my mom so I can tell her I did it.
Oh my god.
It was her birthday yesterday.
It was. Happy birthday. So, I'm just looking at these lists and I'm seeing Jason's name toward the top of it all the time, which would explain why. Because he had the number 1 running back. He had the number 3 quarterback.
Not to mention
the number 10 and 11 quarterback. He had this was his weak spot, wide receiver. His first wide receiver, he must have had Godwin, because he's free agent. DJ Moore was his first. But when you have the top quarterbacks, the top running back, I think he had the top tight end as well. He had Dalton Schultz, the unsung Dalton Schultz, because he had Waller also.
Yeah.
He had a hell of a team. He also had the number one defense with Dallas. He also had New England, who was third. And then he also had the number one kicker with Nick Folk. It's like, Jesus Christ. No wonder why he won. But anyway.
He cheated. I demand a recount.
You demand a recount? Jesus Christ. But anyway.
We're going to storm Fantasy Football Capital.
CD's house?
On January 6th.
That already went by.
Oh, man, we missed it.
February 6th?
Sure. You're going to be in Florida.
Wait, that's the day I leave for Florida. Yeah, because I'm working a half a shift on the 6th and leaving right from work to drive to Floridizzle. But anyway, that's the show. We actually did a show. 2 hours long, too. Just
not a clue.
I know. So,
I didn't have a clue what this show was about.
I know. I didn't even have a clue that the show still existed. But anyway, thank you everybody for all your support continuously over these last COVID years, I'll call it, because it's been intermittent shows here, there, and everywhere. Little mini episodes I try to do, but I've done nothing for that.
Mini-sodes.
But again, I will say I will whore myself out. Please listen to The Future Home. Find them on Spotify, YouTube, anywhere that you can that you listen to music. Please, it would mean the world to me. But also this show as well. Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue podcast.
Please follow me on Pinterest.
Whoa.
I'm not on Pinterest.
He's not on Pinterest. I was like, you have a Pinterest account? Anyway, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/NotAClue podcast. Follow us on that Twitter thingy, @NotAClue pod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. First name of the channel, NotAClue. Second is podcast. The YouTube channel for The Future Home is youtube.com/Scarlet Fever, which is SkarletTettever. I did it way before they made you become a
cool.
Yeah, an actual person with a ton of subscribers to get your own name for the channel. So I was on this thing that long ago.
Grandfather did.
Yep, I was. And that's why I was like, well, screw this. I changed the thing to that. So anyway, and you can also find us on Instagram @NotAClue podcast. As always, thank you for all the support. Please listen, share it, do what you have to do for this episode, because I want to see how good this episode did with no advertising, no nothing. I mean, there's commercials on there, so that's technically advertising, but I mean, no publicity by me or any of us by saying, hey, we're doing a show. It just was like, hey, let's do a show. And it worked. We were going to do it last week, but a COVID issue came up and we could not. So
1, 2, 3, do it.
Thank you to everybody.
Go Thorny. It's your birthday.
Stop. Yes, stop. But thank you, everybody. I'm Brad.
I'm the intern, Kenneth. I almost said I'm not.
But again, CD, I wish you could have been here. Brandon, I also wish you could have been here. Jason, Bill, all you guys.
Fuck Brandon.
So that we can do this. I mean, that's your brother. That's gross. But
incest is the best. Put your cousin to the test.
Okay, family reunion.